We want to welcome to the program Senator Ted Cruz of the great state of Texas. Sir, welcome back to the Chris Salcedo Show.
Chris, great to be with you. Thanks for having me.
Wanted to get you a quick reaction to these pardons that came down from the president today. Of course, as predicted, the biased press is having a meltdown over this, but it's pretty routine, if I remember correctly, for presidents to do this kind of thing.
Well, look, I don't know the particular facts of these cases, but, you know, the Constitution gives the pardon power to the president precisely because the justice system, sometimes you have sentences that are excessive. They don't match the conduct that was committed. And that's why there's a safety valve the president has. It's much the same as governors have across the country. And so the particular cases, I don't know the facts, but hopefully they're focused on the facts and circumstances of what happened.
Now, you being a student of history that I know you to be, you'll remember back during the Reagan era when it has been revealed that Senator Ted Kennedy actually conspired and talked with the Soviet Union to undermine his presidency. Mike Pompeo today came out and revealed that he is incredibly displeased that some of your colleagues, your Democrat colleagues in the Senate, were caught having conversations, unapproved conversations by the State Department or by the president with the Iranian foreign minister. Your reaction to that, sir?
Well, listen, I think that's getting a little too excited about who senators meet with. I'm a big believer that senators can meet with whomever they want, that's part of the responsibility of doing the job. I'm much more concerned not with who they met with, but rather with what their underlying policy is. Iran, the Ayatollah Khamenei, is an enemy of America. He leads chants of death to America. And my problem with Senate Democrats is that they support Obama's policy of giving billions of dollars to the Iranians. That money is used to fund terrorism, to try to kill Americans and to make us less safe. And so, you know, I don't care who they met with, but I'd like for their policy to actually be focused on protecting our nation and our national security interests.
Don't have to tell you, a lot of conservatives around the country appear to be distressed over what appears on the surface to be a two-tier justice system. We had Andrew McCabe just told that he's not going to be charged for lying to the FBI. Of course, General Flynn, as you know, allegedly lied. He's pulling that back now. But a lot of conservatives are wondering, there's been a lot of shade thrown at Republicans and full-blown investigations of these Republicans. Let me ask you about Joe Biden and Hunter Biden. Do you think there's going to be a full-blown investigation in the United States Senate of their conduct?
Look, I hope so. There needs to be. I am frustrated. You know, as I travel around Texas, as I travel around the country, do town halls, meet with people, the frustration I hear over and over again from Texans is how come there's no accountability? How come people can violate the law with impunity and they don't seem to be held to any standards? My view, the Justice Department should not be partisan. It should not be. I don't want a Republican Justice Department or a Democratic Justice Department. I want a Justice Department that enforces the law, follows the law, and that means that if you violate the criminal laws, you're held to account. Listen, McCabe, according to the Inspector General report from DOJ, violated the law, and it's really frustrating to see him not being held responsible. I don't have a good answer. You know, there was a little bit of speculation online that DOJ had tried to take it to a D.C. grand jury and had not been able to get an indictment. If that's the case, I don't know that that's the case. If that's the case, it'd be good to know. But it sure seems like there's not the accountability that there has been when it comes to Joe and Hunter Biden. On the face of it, there's an awful lot of evidence of corruption during the whole impeachment trial. I really tried to focus very hard on the central constitutional question before the Senate was whether the president has the authority to investigate credible evidence of corruption. I hope we see a thorough investigation of Burisma and Joe Biden and Hunter Biden, because on the face of it, it looks thoroughly corrupt.
Yeah, it does. Let me switch topics on you here, because you were mentioned in the State of the Union address by the president and your school choice and workforce development bill that you have put forth. I've known you for a long time. You and I have similar views on on a school choice. And I think that the reason why that we have socialism now and communism accepted in certain quarters in this country, where just, a couple of decades ago that was unthinkable, now it seems to be acceptable, I think is a problem inside the government-run education system. Tell us about your plan, what you want to do, and some of the problems it could solve.
Well, sure. I am passionate about school choice. I think school choice it's really the civil rights issue of the 21st century. It is so powerful. I think every child in America deserves access to a quality education, and that should be true regardless of your race, your ethnicity, your wealth, your zip code. It is unfair that there are so many kids, particularly in inner cities, low-income African-American kids, low-income Hispanic kids who are trapped. They're trapped in schools that are not giving them the education they deserve, and they're not given an option. I've introduced legislation that would provide $10 billion a year, $100 billion over 10 years in federal tax credits, matching tax credits, for contributions to scholarship granting organizations. Now, this is designed to respect federalism, so the states decide whether to opt in. The states run the programs, but it is designed so that kids in K through 12 education, that would be $5 billion a year, $50 billion over 10 years for K through 12 education, for scholarships for kids to attend public school, private school, parochial school, religious school, their choice, to bring real competition. And then it's another $5 billion a year in tax credits for contributions, for scholarships, for apprenticeships and vocational training, for adults, for people who are out of the workforce who want to get more modern skills. That altogether is all about empowering parents, empowering kids, and empowering adults to get the education we need to drive the economy forward and really have a fair shot at the American dream.
Yeah, some of the dangers that I was mentioning about collectivist thought, communism, socialism, is what we're seeing right now, what we're confronted with in this world with what's happening in China. They have been dishonest. They've been hiding the truth about the coronavirus and its spread. And this is also on your radar screen.
It is. What's happening with the coronavirus is deeply concerning. It's a serious public health threat. We have over 71,000 confirmed cases of the virus. We have over 1,700 fatalities. And those are just the numbers that are reporting. As you were mentioning a few minutes ago, the communist Chinese government has a long history of not telling the truth. And so the numbers may be substantially worse than what they're telling us. And the threat is, of course, that this expands. To date, most of the illnesses have been confined to China. The threat is that this expands from China to a worldwide pandemic. At this point, we don't fully understand how the virus is transmitted. We don't fully know the pathology of the virus, and we don't have a strong and effective treatment regimen. I think the president did the right thing. The administration did the right thing, halting commercial airline flights into and out of China. I spoke with the president a day or two after the administration did that. He asked me what I thought about it. I said, Mr. President, that's exactly right. Yes, we have a lot of commerce, a lot of trade with China. That's important. But nobody wants to risk seeing thousands of U.S. lives put in jeopardy as a result of a spreading pandemic. Last week, I held a briefing for senators on the Commerce Committee to meet with experts from the Center for Disease Control and Health and Human Services and the World Health Organization to understand what the threats are. And in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be chairing a public hearing to address this and make sure we're doing everything possible to prevent the spread of this virus and to protect, in particular, to protect lives everywhere, but especially American lives, and try to prevent this virus from coming to the United States.
Yeah, we have said this on this program because of the secrecy of the communist Chinese. We all know that over time what communism and collectivism can do to a society and to a people responsible for millions of deaths. We have said that China, by their secrecy, is actually putting the danger at risk. Am I overstating? I'm sorry, putting the world at risk. Am I overstating that?
Look, that's certainly possible. We know the numbers they're reporting. The numbers they're reporting are really worrisome. I mean, 71,000 confirmed cases is a big problem. When you have over 1,700 fatalities, this thing is spreading and spreading quickly. If it is broader, and that's certainly a possibility, we've seen a long pattern of China not admitting to how bad something is, it could be of a totally different scale. And so I do think the administration, I think World Health experts are treating this seriously, but everyone wants to prevent this from expanding further and endangering more lives.
You and actor James Woods took to Twitter after Barack Obama tried to claim credit for the Trump economy. I'll just tee that up for you. Go ahead and just say what you would like to say in rebuttal to Mr. Obama's claim.
Well, look, it was totally absurd. Barack Obama tweeted taking credit for all the job growth we've seen, and he says, well, he signed the Obama Stimulus Act, so all of this is his result. It is as ludicrous as anything. For 8 years under Barack Obama, we saw high taxes, high regulations, and economic stagnation. To use his own words, Obama stood up and said, listen, there's no way there's no way Republicans are going to bring back jobs. There's no way manufacturing jobs are going to come back. There's no way we're going to have 3% GDP growth. As Obama put it, what does he have, a magic wand? Well, it turns out it doesn't need a magic wand. It just needs low taxes, low regulations, and an environment where small businesses can prosper. And to Obama, he doesn't understand that. And so James Woods rightly popped him back, and I retweeted James Woods. And it's just, look, Obama's policies were a train wreck, were a disaster. They didn't work. And we're right now in the middle of an incredible blue-collar boom, a manufacturing boom. We've got the lowest African-American unemployment ever recorded and the lowest Hispanic unemployment ever recorded, and it drives Barack crazy that it wasn't his policies that produced it, but instead it was Donald Trump and the Republicans' policies.
Senator Ted Cruz, eloquently put, sir. Always a pleasure having you here on the Chris Salcedo Show. We look forward to talking again.
Excellent. Thank you, Chris.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing news channel, now in 65 million homes. Get Newsmax TV on all the major cable systems or go to NewsmaxTV.com and click on the Find Newsmax tab to locate us. Remember, Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.